Hi, I'm Lance of Gunwall Films, and I have just launched my 360 photo booth company called Vulcan 360. We just had our first event yesterday at the wedding venue, the White Barn at Paget Place. So today I'm gonna go back and forth between this footage and the event footage to show you and talk about my vlog and all the ups and downs that happened on my first experience being a 360 video booth operator. We're at the wedding venue in Lazy Springs called the White Barn at Paget Place. We are setting up our first event with the Vulcan 360 photo booth, and we're about to show you a time lapse of us setting it up together. We're gonna get ready to set up. All right. I'm gonna talk about my tips and my do's and don't do's from my first experience. I'm gonna do a countdown from 10 to 1 on the things that affected me on my first time from least important to most important. Starting off with number 10, if you have a small truck or a CUV, make sure you remember how you load all of your gear inside of a vehicle. If you have stanchions, lights, backdrops, this stuff can take up a lot of space. And if you're filling it to the max, I would suggest taking a photo or a mental note on how you put everything inside your car, because tearing it all down at the end of the night and re-putting it back in there when you're tired is gonna be pretty difficult. I started to do a time lapse at the very beginning of the event, but we were outside and it started to rain, so we had to move our stuff back and forth a few times before we got situated. Anyway, so I was only able to get half of the time lapse. Then I just set my camera up in the corner somewhere near our photo booth to capture some of the spins that were going on to use for promotional content. Number 9, be careful when you buy cheap lights. Those little white remotes, I'll throw one on the screen. They come with almost all these lights and they all usually operate on the same frequency. So trying to control different ones with different remotes doesn't really work out too well. You end up pressing an auto or a different switch on your remote for one of your lights, and it ends up changing a different light across the room. And it's quite annoying and frustrating, honestly. So number 8, here in Alabama, it gets very hot, and especially if you're outside, your cold drinks are gonna sweat like crazy. So if you don't have a separate table for your props, they will put them on the prop table. And if you have anything that can be damaged by water, it will get damaged. So like David said, get a bigger table or get a round table separate from everything else, and a sign that says, put your drinks here or drinks. That way people will know not to put it on your prop table and ruin your stuff. When I say David, I mean David Rodriguez from Canary Capital Rentals, if you didn't know. All right, so everything's set up. This is our very first event. So far, anything that could go wrong has gone wrong. It has been quite a disaster, but we've had a shot of Jack Daniels and a beer, and we're doing okay. So behind us is our 360 booth. So behind me we have our gold sequence backdrop with 2 lights. I'm a videographer naturally, so I already had these lights set up. I just bought a few more soft boxes for them. Godox 1x4s. This over here is a Godox SL60W, my very first key light. Cheap and works like a charm. Over here we have the Amaran 200X. That's probably my favorite light because it's bicolored and it's battery operated as well. Number 7, make sure you have enough space for your photo booth. If you aren't communicating properly with the coordinator or the wedding planner or the event planner, and you don't tell them that you need 15 square feet or 20 square feet of space, they might just put you where they normally put other photo booths. And you're going to need a lot more room than just what a standard picture photo booth would probably require. Number 6, if you have a small production, charge what you want. But if you were going all out with the stanchions and the Apple TV and the lights and the fog and the smoke, I think charging $100 an hour is really not worth your while. After my first event, my opinion is I would never do that for $100 an hour. You are a luxury carnival worker. It is a ride, and people can get hurt, and you have to explain everything to all these people. And there's a lot that goes into this, and I think charging $100 an hour is definitely underselling yourself. Number 5, make sure everything is tightened down and fastened safely. If your 360 booth is wobbling, check the legs on the bottom. Also, if you're operating a bigger ring light like I am with a camera, mirrorless or DSLR, and a cell phone or a cell phone and a GoPro, make sure everything is tightened down, because around my 3rd spin of the night, I kicked it up as fast as it could go, and sure enough, the camera and my phone that was locked together on a hot shoe, cold shoe mount went slip back and almost fell off. And God forbid it hits a child or even worse, throws your gear off and your gear breaks. Make sure you tighten everything down and fasten everything down properly. Next on the list is number 4. If you have a bubble machine, make sure to bring towels. Make sure you bring at least 1, if not 2 towels, because when the bubbles get on the top of your 360 booth, it will make everything slippery. And a lot of these events, people are drinking or wearing high heels and it's easy to slip already. And if you add bubble mix to that, it makes it even easier to have an accident. Number 3 isn't anything that went wrong, but just something I wanted to talk about that was really exciting for the day. We had a crowd around us almost the entire time, and a lot of people got on this machine. Even people that worked for the venue, the caterers, the wedding planner, the photographer, the DJ, like everybody got on and had a blast. 360 video booths have been around for a long time now, and about 2 years ago, they were on one of the award shows. I'm not sure which. When I brought mine down there this Saturday, there were still a ton of people who did not know what this was and they'd never seen it before, and they were just super thrilled to be a part of this activity.
All right, so for my ring light, I have a 20-inch Neewer ring light. I got the 20 inches so I can fit my my mirrorless camera and my iPhone on top of it so I can record both at once. The iPhone is so people can share it immediately right now, during the event, and my Sony a7S III, that's so I can edit later and turn this all into promotional content for later use. Yeah, and also I have 2 Socani tube lights behind me. They are some of my favorite tube lights. All right, we'll be right back.
For number 2, something pretty cool that happened is we got tipped a lot, actually. So we didn't charge for this event. Our buddy, DJ Stir Fry, who is with Rocket Entertainment, he owns that company, and he's a good buddy of mine. I asked him to ask one of his brides if they wanted a free 360 video booth to get some content. I wanted my first event to have, little pressure, so we didn't charge anything and just offered it as a free service. That way we could get promotional content and kind of work out any kinks that we needed to before we started actually charging money for our services. So throughout the night, we ended up getting almost $200 in tips. People just kept throwing money at us, and that was pretty cool. So in the number 1 slot, what I will say is to bring a Gerber. One of these guys, one of these multi-tools. There's a lot of moving parts that go on with 360 video booths that I've come to find out after my first event. And having a tool like that can do a lot of things at one time on the fly is super useful and came in clutch at least twice throughout the event. Overall, it was a really good experience. I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. I still have so much to learn, even with my videography background. There was still a few mishaps that happened. So if you want to have a sharing station, you need to be able to have Wi-Fi or internet service and have your own portable hotspot. I would not rely on the venue's Wi-Fi because where we were, there was no service at all. So my little personal hotspot was basically useless, and their Wi-Fi was booty cheeks. So it did not work out as planned. I had to basically airdrop everything from my cell phone, which worked out fine. There was only 2 people there that had Androids that had to use the barcode. But it was kind of, I had this whole thing planned out, like I did so much work, and I was like, the sharing station's gonna be here, booster over here, and things just didn't plan out the way I wanted them to. But luckily, AirDrop worked amazing, and people still got their videos and really, really enjoyed them. Also, our fog machine overheated a few times. We got the 500 watt one, I believe, that David recommended. It did do really well. The smoke was awesome. We got the beam splitters, and the lights and the lasers running through it looked really good. But it did overheat a few times, I believe. So we had to turn it off and turn it back on to get it working again. Here soon, when the new iPhone 14 comes out, I'm gonna play around between that and the GoPro Hero 10 and see which one has better image quality versus which one is more convenient to use. Because right now, even though the GoPro seems like it's gonna be better for image quality all around, the convenience of AirDrop on an iPhone is just superb, and I don't know if I wanna give that up yet.
All right, we just wrapped up our first event, and that shit was crazy. Everything went wrong from the beginning, but towards the middle, people started getting on the booth and they started really enjoying it, and it ended up being a huge hit. So thinking about getting a 360 booth, you should do it now and know what you're doing. And also show up at least 2 hours early. 1 hour is not gonna cut it. You need to do 2 hours early. Let's see here, my lovely assistant, Ariana. She's amazing and helped me out the whole time. The bubbles were a huge hit. They look great. The fog machine was awesome.
Think very carefully about what fog machine you get because, for example, in the Alabama Southern heat, it overheated quite a few times. You had to constantly turn it on and off. But
yeah, we weren't able to,
The bubbles came in and saved us though, so it's okay.
Props are great. My iPhone 11 died towards the end, or was like starting to die towards the end, so it was really kind of difficult. Why are you not bright? There we go. Everything else worked pretty well. So yeah, this is our first vlog, and if you're looking for more content, please like and subscribe to Gumwall Films.
I have another event here in the next few weeks, and I'm sure I'll have a few more stories to tell and a few more tips to share with you on my journey as a brand new 360 video booth operator. I'm sure I'm gonna sign out on the video during the live event. I can't remember if I did or not. I'm pretty sure I did, but my name's Lance. I'm at Gunwall Films, and I'm now starting my new journey with the Vulcan 360 photo booth. Talk to you soon.